Once upon a time, there was a man and a woman who had long but never wished for a child. Finally, the woman came to believe that the good Lord would fulfill her wish. Through the small rear window of their people's house, they could see into a splendid garden. The garden was surrounded by a high wall, and no one dared enter. It belonged to a sorceress who possessed great power and was feared by everyone. One day, the woman was standing at this window, and she saw a Rapunzel. It looked so fresh and green that she longed for some. Her greatest desire was to eat some. It became increased with every day, and sooner or later she became miserably ill.
What ails you, your wife?
Oh, if I do not get some Rapunzel from the garden behind our house, I shall die.
Man who loved her dearly thought, before you let your wife die, you must get her some of the Rapunzel, whatever the cost. So just as it was getting dark, he climbed over the high wall into the sorcerer's garden, hastily dug up a handful of Rapunzel, and took it to his wife. By the next day, her desire for more had grown threefold. The man would have to climb into the garden once again. Thus, he set forth once again, just as it was getting dark. But no sooner than he had climbed over the wall than, to his horror, he saw the sorcerer standing there before him.
How can you dare to climb into my garden and like a thief steal my Rapunzel flower? You thief!
Let mercy overrule justice. I came to this out of necessity. My wife saw you Rapunzel from our window, and such a longing came over her that she would die if she did not get some to eat.
If things are as you say, I will allow you to take as much Rapunzels as you want. But under one condition. You will give me the child that your wife brings into this world. It will do well, and I will take care of it like a mother.
In his fear, the man agreed to everything. When the woman gave birth, the sorceress appeared and named the little girl Rapunzel and took her away. Rapunzel became the most beautiful child under the sun. When she was 12 years old, the fairy locked her in a tower that she stood in the forest and that had neither a door nor a stairway, but only a tiny little window at the very top. When the sorceress wanted to enter, she stood below and called out,
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
A few years later, it happened that a king's son was riding through the forest. As he approached the tower, he heard a song so beautiful that he stopped to listen. It was Rapunzel, who was passing the time by singing with her sweet voice. The prince wanted to climb up to her and look for a door in the tower, but none was to be. He rode home, but the song had touched his heart that he returned to the forest every day and listened to it. One time, as he was thus standing behind a tree, he saw the sorceress approach and heard her say,
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Then Rapunzel let down her hair and the sorceress climbed up. The prince thought, if that is the ladder into the tower, then sometime I will try my luck. The next day, he went to the tower and called out,
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
At first, Rapunzel was terribly frightened when a man such as she had never seen before came into her. However, the prince began talking to her in a very friendly manner, telling her that his heart had been so touched by her singing that he could have no peace until he had seen her in person. Then Rapunzel lost her fear, and when he asked her if she would take him as her husband, she thought, he would rather have me than would old friend Gothel. She said yes and placed her hand into his.
I'll gladly go with you, but I don't know how to get down. Every time you come, bring this strand of silk to weave a ladder. When it's finished, I will climb down so I can go with you and your home.
The sorceress did not notice what was happening until one day Rapunzel said to her,
Fair Gothel, tell me why it's so difficult to pull you up than the young prince.
You gutless child! What am I hearing for you? I thought I had removed you from the whole world, but you deceived me nonetheless.
In her anger, she grabbed Rapunzel's beautiful hair, a pair of scissors with her right hand, and snip, snap. cut it off. And she was so unmerciful that she took Rapunzel into a wilderness where she suffered greatly. In the same day, the prince came by.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair.
Aha! You have come for your mistress, darling, but that beautiful bird is no longer sitting in her nest. The cat got her, and will scratch your eyes out as well. You have lost Rapunzel, and you will never see her again.
The prince was overcome with grief, and in his despair he threw himself from the tower. He escaped with his life, but the thorns into which he fell poked out his eye. Blind, he wandered about in the forest, eating nothing but grass and roots, and doing nothing but weeping and wailing over the loss of his beloved wife. Finally, happening into the wilderness where Rapunzel lived miserably with the twins that she had given birth to. He heard a voice and thought it was familiar. He advanced toward it, and as he approached, Rapunzel recognized him, crying, threw her arms around his neck. Two of her tears fell into his eyes, and they became clear once again, and he could see as well as before.
I can see.
He led her into this kingdom, and they lived happily ever after.